Pontiac Silverdome, Class A state championship game between the Hawks of Harrison and Midland Dow. And it's Harrison receiving the kickoff, and a great return across the 50-yard line by the Hawks' Jason Sharp. And Farmington Hills Harrison will begin this Class A state championship game 1st and 10 at the 48 of Midland Dow. Glad you're with us. My name is Mark Crawford, along with the old coach, Bill Brandell. The Hawks of Harrison 12-0 on their season. The Chargers of Midland Dow are 11-1. And an interesting ball game, real contrast in styles in this one. We'll develop that as we move along. Harrison 1st and 10, initial drive of the football game. Back to throw is Hopkins, he's in trouble. Gets it off to Ganem, but going to be a loss of at least 5, and the Dow fans are thrilled. It's a matchup of this Dow defense, frankly, against the high-octane Farmington Hills Harrison offense.
Well, I was just going to say, Mark, that crowd just ready for that first defensive play by the Chargers. They've lived by their defense this year. They have great quickness. They're not real big, but they are extremely aggressive, and they just do their thing by the defensive side of the ball.
2nd down, 15. Jared Hopkins, a 200-pound senior at quarterback. Back to throw. He's hit before he can get rid of it. Right there from Midland Dow, Chris Emiat, number 44, and it'll be 3rd and long. I saw Midland Dow's semifinal ball game against East Lansing, and well, that was in one game a capsule of what this Dow club has been all about. They held East Lansing to something like 4 or 5 first downs and only about 100 yards in total offense, and won 7-0. This Dow club is not a great offensive power, but they play terrific defense. 3rd and 15. Hopkins to throw over the middle, incomplete. Trying to find Ricky Bryant. And Bryant went up for the pass, and as the football arrived, so did a Dow defender. And the great field position that Harrison had to start with goes nowhere, and they'll be 4th and punt.
Boy, and that is a surprise, Mark, for this Hawk offense. 3 and out. Watch the hit here by the defensive back. Boom! Right on time, and no completion on that one.
Joe Ganem will punt, standing back at his own 35. Averages about 36 yards a punt. This one fielded at the 18, and that's it. Good coverage by Farmington Hills Harrison, and the Hawks now will try their turn on defense. And it'll be Midland Dow's chance with the football. They'll start 1st and 10, back at about their own 16. The Chargers are a running football team. They are under head coach Frank Altamore, the classic run the football and stop the run kind of team. And most of the time it'll be number 13, the tailback, Matt Samaki, who will have the football. Power I formation behind Mike Johnson. This will be Samaki right side. Not much there. Maybe a yard for Matt Samaki. Brett Foster from Harrison is there to make the stop. It'll be 2nd down long. Harrison a little bit bigger on both sides of the football as Midland Dow lines up on offense here. The defensive line about 12 pounds bigger than Dow's offensive line. Double tight end and a slot to the left. That's the dive back, the fullback Jason Speece. And he's forward for nearly 5. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, the key, Mark, for the Chargers of Dow is simply to be able to run the ball. And as you've already said, they're a team that doesn't make any secret of that. They're going to come out here and try to control the ball, keep the Harrison offense on the sidelines, and just move the ball by way of the rush.
3rd down, 5, draw. This will be Samaki trying to turn the corner and has the 1st down. Good strong run by 5'8", 175-pound senior Matt Samaki. I saw him for the first time last week and ran into a friend who works radio football games up in the Midland, Saginaw Bay City area, and he told me that Matt Samaki will pancake at least one linebacker during the course of every game. Here he comes.
and cuts it right up inside. A real nice move there to pick up the first down, Mark. He was stopped to the outside, but the quick move inside got him the yardage for the first down.
And Samaki's got another first down. Give him 11, maybe 12 out across the 40 and near the 41 on the carry is Matt Samaki. And it's the Chargers of Dow right now who seem to have the offense going a little bit.
Well, I noticed some excellent quickness on the part of the offensive line for Dow also, Mark. We just talked about their defense a moment ago being very, very quick, but their offensive line seems to get off the ball extremely well also.
Slot with the eye, it'll be Samaki up the middle, and this time the white jerseys are waiting for him. Wrapped up by Matt Walker, number 56, among others. The officials say no gain. It'll be second down and 10. We have settled one state championship already today. Lake Linden-Hubbell defeats Portland St. Pat 30-8 to win the Class D championship. Second down, 10, Midland Dow. Draw play, Samaki hit in the backfield, maybe gets a yard out of it. The stop by Brian McGee, number 58. And it'll be third and long. On the season, Dow only has about 560, 570 yards passing. And over 12 games, that tells you they're not throwing the ball much, about 40 yards a game.
And you contrast that to the other side, the Hawks, Mark, throw for over 150 yards a game. So they mix the run and the pass much more than do the Chargers of Dow.
Third down long. Johnson will try and throw. Out in the flats, has a man, going to be well short of the first down sticks. Got it to Jason Speece, the fullback. And Speece taken down after a gain of 5, maybe 6. It'll be fourth down. And Midland Dow will be forced to punt. They did manage to move the chains twice, though, and in a game like this where field position is so important, that at least gives them 20, 25 extra yards as they punt it away here.
Well, field position will be important too, Mark, and you're right. They were backed up at their own 16, moved the ball out fairly close to midfield.
Snap gets by Brabs, and down he goes. Football loose, and at about the 26-yard line, going to be covered by Harrison. Well, there's the field position we just talked about, and Brabs could not come up with the low snap. Went through his legs, and it's going to be great field position again for Farmington Hills Harrison.
Well, I was just going to say that they had worked themselves out of a hole, and all of a sudden the mishandled snap on the part of the punter, and we end up with great field position on the second offensive possession for the Harrison Hawks.
7:01 to play first quarter. Farmington Hills Harrison and Midland Dow, and Harrison has it first and 10 deep in Dow territory. Dive back, this is Cornwell. And he's got about 5 yards. Fights his way down near the 22. 190-pound senior, averaged about 7 yards a carry this year for the Hawks. Very balanced offense for Farmington Hills Harrison. Run for about 200 yards a game, throw for about 160. Score nearly 40 points a contest. Power eye look now with a double tight end. Deep back with some room is Chris Gannum, their leading ground gainer, and it looks like he's going to move the chains. Gannum carries down near the 15-yard line. The sticks were at the 16, and it's a first down, say the officials.
Well, the first down of the ball game for the Hawks, and they get it by way of the rush. Don't be a bit surprised if, even though they've had success here, 2 rushing plays in a row, that they don't come up and throw the ball. They are wide open offensively.
Still in that power eye. They'll try Gannum again, and he's got 5, 6 more. Down inside the 10 and near the 9 goes Chris Gannum. These Harrison Hawks are just an amazing program, really define high school football excellence in Michigan. 16th time in the playoffs. They have 7 titles. They have been runners-up 3 times. This is their 11th time in the state championship game.
Coach John Harrington says the strength of his team is his offensive line this year, Mark, and this is the red zone. This is where that offensive line can take over for you.
Tailback again, Ganem. Maybe another yard or two. It'll be 3rd down and about 3. These two clubs have met before. In fact, right here. First year they played the MHSAA football championships in the Dome, 1976. It was Harrison and Dow for the Class A state championship, and that time went to Midland Dow. 36-27, the Chargers won. This is Ganem again, and had to get to the 5 for the first down. Looks like he's down near the 4, maybe the 3, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Hawks. And the officials say up, 1st down. They mark the football just inside the 4, and so this is time for the Dow defense now. 1st and goal, Farmington Hills Harrison. Ganem is in the tailback spot, the power eye, and this is Ganem again, right side, stacked up after about a yard. Maybe forward to the 2, where it'll be 2nd and goal. 4:30 still to play in the first quarter. Interesting, as we said, both these clubs were a part of that first Class A state championship game here in the Silverdome. Harrison's been back 10 more times. This is the first time Dow has been back. 2nd and goal. Pitch to Ganem, trying to turn the corner. He's in. Chris Ganem from 2 yards out. And the Hawks of Harrison draw first blood after the mistake in the kicking game by Midland Dow. Harrison 6, Dow nothing.
Well, an excellent display of line blocking that time as we got down into the crunch zone here, and the Hawk offensive line just dominated the quickness of the Dow defense. The quickness just not able to stop people quick enough in that kind of a situation. And the Hawks of Harrison get their first points up on the board and lead this one 7-0.
Zach Cornwell drills the extra point, and with 4:01 to play in the first, Farmington Hills Harrison 7, Dow nothing. Coach, those mistakes will kill you.
Boy, they will. That mistake, a turnover, but actually Harrison was going to get the ball, so I don't know whether you'd put it into that category, but it was a major switch in field position, Mark, as the Chargers had moved the ball out very close to the 50-yard line and really in good position to punt the ball and put Harrison back deep in their own end of the field. But the mishandled snap on the punt, and all of a sudden the Chargers are facing this powerful Harrison offense at their own 26-yard line. A couple of first downs by way of the rush, and then down into the red zone, and bingo, the Hawks are up on the board with those 7 points. As you and I talked, Mark, about a key stat for this particular ball game, we talked about really it's scoring, and that kind of is a cliche. Obviously, the team with the most points is going to win, but what we mean is that if it's a high-scoring contest, it's definitely in favor of the Hawks. If it's a low-scoring contest, then Dow's going to be right there, and I'd say you'd have to say Dow coming in an underdog simply because they don't score as many points as Harrison. So we'll have to see now if Dow can answer and if they can slow down this offense that the Hawks put together on their second offensive possession.
Hawks will boot it away. High kick going to be fielded at about the 12. And out across the 20 to about the 21 or 22 with it comes Jeff Winter. And Dow will take over there. Yeah, back to the key stat idea, Coach. As we talked beforehand, it's almost an over-under kind of a situation where you have a sense that if teams are going to score 3 touchdowns here, it's Harrison's game. That if Dow's going to win, they need a 14-7 kind of a game, or a 10-7, or a 7-0 sort of a game. And so Dow can't afford to get into some kind of run-and-shoot contest here with Harrison. Here come the Chargers now. They need to keep the offense on the field. 1st and 10. Samaki to the left. Good hard running back. has a couple of yards before he's snowed under. I think it was Brian Lewis that time. One of the co-captains. Down tackle, 250-pound senior. The gain is 2 by Samaki.
Boy, 250 pounds hit you with a running start, Mark. You're going to feel that one. That'll rock your socks a little bit.
Tell you, based on what I saw last week, Samaki will keep coming back. He ran the football 34 times against East Lansing and took some punishment, but just kept on coming. 2nd down 8. Inside counter. And a couple more yards for Dow across the 25 and near the 26 on the carry. Mike Fisher, the other tackle for Harrison, is there on the stop.
Mike Hode also from a linebacker position in there to help.
And already another big play here. 3rd down and 5 for Dow.
Harrison runs a 52 defense, meaning there are 5 people up front. On the next line of defense, there are 2 linebackers, which is the same defense that Dow runs. So both of these clubs are very familiar with the defensive alignment that they face.
Johnson rolling left. I have a feeling was hoping maybe he'd find an opportunity to throw, but the Harrison defense is there. We have a flag behind the play as well, where you'd normally have a hold or a clip on the offense. Wait and see from Randy Stewart, our referee, what the call is. They're talking with Harrison. And it is a hold and will be turned down as it's going to be 4th down. The down box rolls over and Dow forced to punt it away. So Phil Brabs is back on to punt. Had a little trouble with the last snap. Very dangerous return men for Farmington Hills Harrison. Sharp and Ricky Bryant back have both returned kicks. That's partially blocked. Will bounce near midfield and roll out of bounds at the 45. And Harrison going to take over with great field position again. Kind of a low kick, I think, by Phil Brabs. And one of the on-rushing Harrison defenders had a hand up. Really wasn't that close to the punter, but did manage to get a hand on the punt and got a partial punt block. And Harrison's going to get excellent field position after the short punt by Dow.
Well, they're at their own 45-yard line, Mark, and that's the worst field position they've had to start in their 3 offensive possessions. So tells you a little bit about field position here in this contest so far.
Brian Lewis, the center, leads up the Hawks of Harrison. They got a motion man and give to the fullback, Cornwell, and Cornwell busts it up the middle. Now fumbles the football. Still loose inside the 15 and picked up by Dow. Jeff Winter on the fumble recovery, and Dow gets it back.
Oh, what a great defensive play here by the Chargers, Mark, as the Hawks really had an excellent running play going as Cornwell had busted through the line and was really heading into the deep backfield. And boy, a tackler came from behind and stripped the ball. See if we can pick up the number of the defensive player. Watch the technique as he isn't satisfied just to make the tackle. It's number 5 for the Chargers, Doug Church, and knocks that ball loose and causes a turnover.
So Dow has it back, and Mr. Samaki gets it on the first play. No surprise there. Has about a yard off left side. Well, this has been a weird first quarter already. Minute 45 still to play in the first. Hawks 7, Dow nothing. Harrison has 3 times had the football, all 3 times in the Dow end of the field. And so far, the Chargers of Dow have escaped and only trail 7-0. 2nd down 9. Mike Johnson, the senior quarterback. Double tight end formation. Back to throw. Boy, good protection this time, and lofts it well out of bounds up into the stands. You don't see a lot of passes delivered into the stands.
Not into the stands. No, you can throw one away, but that is throwing one away. Literally throwing one away.
Well, there's some Harrison players talking to the official and saying, listen, doesn't that qualify as some kind of intentional grounding?
Well, I don't know. Both of these teams, Mark, with the colors of green and bright yellow, and maybe quarterback Mike Johnson spotted some green up there in the stands, and that's the Harrison side.
Some of the Dow crazies right there. That's really sporting your colors right there, huh?
Yes, it is.
Third down long. Kind of a double reverse here. Yider, I'm sorry, ends up with the football, but well, depends on the mark. Let's see what they give him. Now, not quite enough. I was going to say, but they marked him just shy, and they did. Eric Yider ended up bouncing across the 35 and out closer to the 37, but the officials marked him back at the 35, where it'll be 4th and a long 1. And if you're Dow and Frank Altamore in a state championship game, you aren't going to mess around on 4th and 1 back at your own 35. You're going to punt.
Well, you'd like to get field position switched around here, but boy, the punting game's been a little dangerous for the Chargers here, Mark. Nothing's for sure.
Harrison has 10 up, looking now for a fake, but Brabs will punt it away.
Oh my!
It's a rocket over Ricky Bryant's head.
A little bit.
Inside the 5. Boy, be careful how you mark that, guys. Down at the 1.
Oh, it's not even the 1. It's like the 1-foot line.
The line of scrimmage was the 35, so he'll get 65 yards on the punt. Will Phil Brabs. Well, you wanted a change in field position if you were Midland Dow, you mentioned, and I guess Frank Altamore and company have to be satisfied with that, huh?
Holy moly, what a kick. That came out of there like a rocket, got the good. Dow bounced towards the Harrison goal line, and a couple of the Chargers downfield quickly to kill the ball, as you can see right there, and it's right at the 1-foot line.
Final 10 seconds of quarter number 1. Harrison with the football in the shadow of their end zone. This is Cornwell, and he gets it out near the 9. Gives him a little bit of running room as our first quarter comes to an end. One quarter under our belt. Here at the Silverdome, Farmington Hills Harrison 7. And the Chargers of Midland Dow nothing.
Well, our key stats so far, we're talking about scoring, but in this contest, really the key so far, Mark, has been field position, as the Hawks of Harrison have just come out with the opening kickoff and started their first drive over the 50-yard line, and from that point on, it just seemed as though the whole game was played in the Midland Dow end of the field. And then after this punt, the field position drastically changed. Harrison finds himself at the 1-foot line, and they come right out of it without any trouble, as all of a sudden that offensive line up front for the Hawks is beginning to assert themselves. So we've had a very, very interesting first quarter.
And again, if you're Dow's defense here, your job right now is to stop Harrison here deep and force a punt from back in the end zone. Give your offense an opportunity to work with a little bit of field position of its own. The football is resting on the 8-yard line of Farmington Hills Harrison, where it'll be 2nd down and 2, maybe 3 to go. Great coaching matchup in this one. John Harrington in his 28th season at Farmington Hills Harrison, the only head football coach that school's ever known. 247 victories, 53 defeats and a tie. And Frank Altamore, who's built a great program at Dow, 15 years there, 87 victories, 51 defeats. 2nd down and a couple now for Harrison as we start second quarter. Power I formation. That's the deep back, Ganem. And looks like Ganem moves forward along with the pile out near the 14. That'll be enough for a first down. Boy, some amazing numbers John Harrington and his staff provided us in our pregame conversations. 14 players from Harrison this year named all conference or all division. That's not 14 players in the 1990s. That's 14 players this year. Amazing.
Well, he talked about the profile of his team being one where he didn't have any 1 or 2 heroes, Mark. No superstars, but just extremely solid at every position.
1st and 10 Hawks. Going to run the reverse to Bryant. And Bryant stuck in the backfield. That's one of the plays that Dow head coach Frank Altamore told us they were worried about right there. Ricky Bryant, the 6-foot junior speedster wide receiver from Harrison, need to contain him. It'll be a loss of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 11 facing the Hawks. Wideouts to both sides. Boy, Sharp and Bryant are terrific wideouts. We've not seen Hopkins throw much. They'll run the dive. Cornwell up the middle, and Cornwell may get the first down. Let's see where they mark him. He picked up 10 yards and will be marked at about the 23. Looks just short of the sticks. It'll be 3rd and about 1. Now some trivia, Coach, on our 16 finalists who will be playing for state titles here at the Dome. 8 of them qualified number 2 in their region. 6 of them number 1. A couple of them number 3. Nobody moved from the number 4 spot to the state championship game. 3rd down 1. And a nice change of direction by Ganem, and he'll get the first down.
Good bit of stop and go action there by Chris Ganem as he was hit actually behind the line of scrimmage and was able to kind of back up, then move to his offensive left just a little bit, found a little seam and was able to pick up the 2 or 3 yards and get the first down. 4th first down so far for the Harrison Hawks. All of those coming by way of the rush, which is not real typical of the Hawk team. They throw the ball quite regularly and for lots of yardage.
Well, they learned perhaps on their first possession. Tried to throw a couple of times, and Dow was all over them. 1st and 10. They're going to try and throw here, and sacked again.
Well, you called it, Mark. You had it right on as this time they go back to throw the ball. And Chris Emiot able to get deep into the backfield very quickly, and this has been one of the profiles of the Chargers this year. Those 2 ends, they're like roadblocks out there for the passing game. Chris Emiot and Doug Church, and they got a ton of sacks between the 2 of them.
Loss is back inside the 20 to the 19. It'll be 2nd down and about 16 or 17 for Harrison. Back to throw, quick drop this time, and it's complete. Out across the 27 to the 28-yard line. Ricky Bryant catches it, rolls with the football, and picks up almost 10 yards. But it'll still be 3rd and about 8 facing Harrison. Ricky Bryant, only the 2nd Harrison player ever to start as a freshman. The other one was John Miller, who went on and had a great football career at Michigan State University. 3rd down long, Harrison. 7 players right there in the box for Dow. Out in the flats, they find Chris Ganem, and he's got the first down and more. Out across the 45-yard line to the 46 is Ganem, 18 yards on the completion. And move the sticks. It'll be 1st and 10 Harrison. 8:10 to play, first half. Hawks of Harrison 7, Midland Dow nothing.
Well, Jared Hopkins right on the money with a pass that time, Mark. He's a 60% passer, and he puts a little mustard on that one. As you can see, he finds Ganem out there, but the ball thrown on an angle, and it had to be exactly where it was thrown in order to be completed. Boy, right on the money, Jared Hopkins.
This is Ganem again off right tackle as the Hawks sort of fake that end around that time, trying to freeze the defensive line. They're going to gain 7-8 yards on the carry. It'll be 2nd and short. Harrison will show you a lot of looks and do a lot of things offensively. Very difficult team to defense. This time use a slot. Hopkins will give to his dive back, and it's a first down. Zach Cornwell picks up the first down. The football down at the 43-yard line now of Midland Dow. 5
rushing first downs for the Harrison Hawks. points. As we will remind folks, this drive started at the 1-foot line, Mark, and has continued to now move into the Chargers' end of the field. Excellent bit of offense displayed here by Farmington Hills Harrison.
Hopkins wants to throw out in the flats, has his man Bryant, makes one guy miss and another. He's inside the 30 and down near the 28. Ricky Bryant now has 40 receptions on his season. That's a big number for a high schooler. Just a junior. Has a brother who plays at your beloved University of Michigan. Kevin Bryant, his brother, with the Wolverine football squad. There's Ricky Bryant making a miss.
Boy, some quick feet on the part of Ricky Bryant, Mark. He's scary out there. He has a touchdown this year by way of a punt return. He has a touchdown by way of a kickoff return. He's a scary guy. He's the gentleman that took the opening kickoff, ran it back for about 30, 40 yards to start this contest. So he's dangerous anytime he gets his hands on the ball out there. Has 38 receptions coming into this ball game. Got a couple already, so he's up around the 40 mark here, and he is just one very talented football player.
Yeah, rarely in high school football do you see anybody with those kinds of numbers, and he's very close to 1,000 yards receiving too. And as difficult as it is to run for 1,000 yards, you virtually never see anyone who catches 1,000 yards worth of passes in a high school season.
Well, catching 40 passes in a season is a ton, Mark, being the old coach that I am, and I have seen some mighty fine receivers. I remember one of the best that we ever had at Lakeview, the Higgins boy who played at the University of Michigan, and he was excellent, but he was nowhere near 40 receptions on a season.
First down Harrison after the timeout. Off left side, I think it's Ganem, number 21, the tailback again. Has a yard or two. He's down near the 27, where it'll be second down. We're midway through the second quarter. Harrison has all the points on the board right now. It's 7-0, a 2-yard Chris Ganem touchdown run, following a mistake in the punting game by Midland Dow. Extra point was tacked on, and that's where we stand at 7-0 Harrison. Hawks 2nd and 8. Want to throw, have a man out in the flat. It's Bryant again. Bryant down the sideline, and he's going to score. 27 yards. Jared Hopkins to Ricky Bryant, the catch and run. Harrison 13-0.
Well, what a beautiful play. Almost a little flanker screen as Ricky Bryant gets the ball with a blocker out in front of him. The pass just right along the line of scrimmage. And once Ricky Bryant gets the ball, there's nobody going to catch him, as he got the block that he needed on the first defender. And then it's down the sidelines and into the end zone for another 6 points up on the board for the Harrison Hawks. They tack on the extra point, and the score now 14-0. Let's watch the play develop once again. A little inside fake. Jared Hopkins throws the ball over to Ricky Bryant. You can see the block there just on the sidelines. That's all the room Ricky Bryant needed. Nobody going to catch him. Down the sideline into the end zone. Excellent offensive play. Mark, this offensive drive by the Harrison Hawks starts at the 1-foot line and goes 99 yards 2 feet for the touchdown for the Hawks.
Well, there isn't a lot farther you can take it, is there?
I don't think you can go any farther than that.
6:10 to play in the first half, and it's time for the offense from Dow to answer. Harrison has staked their Hawk fans to a 14-0 lead over Midland Dow in this Class A state championship game. And again, as we talked about just before this one started, Harrison, the high-octane offense, Midland Dow, the strong defensive club. And now the Dow offense is in a place they really didn't want to be. Down a couple of touchdowns here in the first half. Dow has a couple of good return men here too. Church averaging 27 yards every time he returns it. Samaki 25 and Winter 26. The three guys down deep. So they can do some damage here. See if the Chargers can't get some good field position. Ganem's kick is high and fielded back at about the 5.
Oh, one step from being gone. You were right, Mark.
Out across the 25 and near the 27 with it came Jeff Winter. And Dow will take over 1st and 10 right there. The Chargers 11-1 on their season. Only loss they suffered to Flint Central back in week 4. They have won 8 games in a row since. They are the champions out of the Saginaw Valley. And here they come, down a couple of touchdowns. Boy, they are power right. A couple of tight ends to the right-hand side and now a slot as well, and they'll run that way. Samaki will pick up about 5. Stop is made by Kareem Smart back there, the defensive back, as Dow really overloaded the right side there and turned Samaki loose on that student body right.
Well, they had everybody over there, as you said, Mark. They were unbalanced to the right side and then put the lead blocker out there and gave the ball to Samaki, and he just came around the corner, found a little seam, moved up for a good 7 yards.
This time it's the big guy, Spiess on the dive. And the Dow fans here on the near side are cheering as they'll move the chains. Spiess carries for the 1st down. Well, that is a load of a fullback, number 90, Jason Spiess, 6'2", 235. Get him tucked in behind that offensive line, the right side especially, where they go about 250 a man, and you send a 235-pound fullback going full bore. They're going to try left this time, and Samaki's hit in the backfield and dropped. Good penetration that time by Zach Cornwell, number 23. What do you have, Coach? 6 or 7 of the Harrison Hawks playing 2 ways? 8 of them, isn't it?
8 players go 2 ways. I think that's interesting, Mark, because this program at Harrison is so strong. There's so many players out there, and yet 8 of these young men going both ways. Great sign of conditioning and being able to be diverse in your talents.
2nd and 13, Johnson to throw, guns it over the middle, it's picked off. The intercept by Harrison's Matt Walker, the linebacker. And going to be great field position again for Harrison. 1st and 10 at the 37 of Midland Dow.
Well, here we go once again. The turnover situation coming back to bite the Chargers. Mike Johnson steps back, really got an open target, but throws the ball short. If he'd gotten the ball up in the air just a little bit, he had a receiver behind the defenders, but Matt Walker, 6'2", coming from his linebacker position, reading the play very well and getting into that short drop zone, intercepts the pass. Another turnover goes in favor of the Hawks.
The Dow defense is there and wraps up Chris Ganem on 1st down. Boy, late flags all over the place. Well, after the tackle of Chris Ganem, several officials throw flags into the pile. This might be one of those offsetting personal foul situations. It is a personal foul. There's one on Harrison. And that's all we're going to see, the one on Harrison. So somebody from Harrison got in a little bit late, and that's a herder. And you know, John Harrington not too happy about that. Things are going his way right now. He's up 14-0. He doesn't need a personal foul. Well,
the first foul of the ball game, and it's a big one. And just what actually the Chargers needed here maybe can help slow down this powerful offensive machine that the Hawks have got rolling in this first half.
It was dead ball, so the down box rolled over to 2nd down. This is Matt Reed now in at tailback, and Reed is forward for about 10 yards. But it'll be 3rd and still about 13 facing the Hawks. Matt Reed, 5'10", 160, and a junior, has checked in to give Ganem a little bit of a break. And here comes Ganem back in now, along with the 2 dangerous wideouts, Ricky Bryant and Jason Sharp. as it's 3rd down and just about 15 facing Harrison. 3:25 to play first half. Hawks of Harrison 14, Midland Dow nothing. Hopkins has an I formation behind him and 2 wide outs, and now Ganem goes in motion, so 3 wide outs for Harrison. Hopkins with time. Now he's in trouble, and down he goes. Wrapped up by Sean Parkhurst, the linebacker for Dow. Loss of 5, 4th down, and give the Dow defense credit. When they had to, they came up big, and they'll force a punt.
Well, that was good coverage defense also, Mark, as quarterback Jared Hopkins had some time, actually, to throw the ball back there, but drifted out of the pocket. And, boy, you can't take too long because this Dow defense is quick, and they love to sack the quarterback on the pass attempt.
Punt time for Harrison, their 2nd punt of the day. This one angling toward the sideline, and they got the coffin corner. Let's see where. The official says the 14. Mark it out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Good punt by Joe Ganem. And Dow, with about 2.5 minutes to play here in the first half, will take over back at their own 14. But good job by the Dow defense.
Well, it came right at the time they needed it, Mark, as once again field position was very good for the Hawks of Harrison. And then the penalty marched them back 15 yards, put them in a 2nd down and 25 situation, and the Dow defense came to play at that point and now end up with the ball for their offense.
I formation behind Johnson. They're going to run Samaki to the right, looking for a little seam, might have it. Turns the corner at the 30, the 35, out near the 40 on a gain of 25 yards for Matt Samaki. Well, nice run by Matt Samaki, as designed to go all the way around the corner, and Matt Samaki saw a little crease, danced through that, and then took it out to the sideline.
Well, some good blocking up front for Samaki, as he didn't do that by himself. Some people got out in front for him, were able to screen off the Hawks as they were coming on their defensive pursuit route, and Samaki with a big run.
Space the fullback. Line of scrimmage and nothing more as he's wrestled down. The interior of that Harrison line, Brian Lewis, among others, is there. One of the co-captains. It'll be 2nd down and all of 10 still facing them. Here's run again. Here's
the run again. Now watch the blocks as Samaki gets around the corner. There's some help for him, and he finds those little creases and picks up some extra yards. The clock, an enemy also of the Chargers right now, Mark, as their offense is not the real explosive type offense. This is what they want to do, run the ball, but I'm not sure they got enough time to do it this way.
Now 1:15 and counting, all that remains here first half, and they're still 5 yards shy of the midfield stripe. They do have a great field goal kicker at Dow. Phil Brabs has a long kick of 49 yards last year. We saw him hit a couple of 45-yarders in pregame warm-ups here. But they're still, boy, a good 20 yards away from being able to try anything like that. Timeout called by Dow with 1:01 to play in the first half. It's 14-0 Farmington Hills Harrison.
Well, this is a key 1:01 left on the clock for the Chargers, Mark. Boy, it would be just really a boost for them to be able to get some kind of points on the board as they go in here at halftime. They've actually played very well. They gave up the field position situation early in the first quarter to give up the first 7 points, and then we just have to credit the Harrison Hawks with that 99-yard, 2-foot drive that they put on in the second quarter, and they have the only points in this contest up on the board. But Dow really has played pretty good defense for most of the contest, and they now need to get this offense just a little farther down the field, as you've described, possibly get 3 points on the board at least, and obviously they'd love the touchdown, but boy, their offense just not one that's designed to move 45, 55 yards here in a minute.
Yeah, all things considered, it could be a lot worse than 14-0 right now. Here come the Chargers. 3rd down and about 5. Job 1 is to pick up the first, and they won't. They try the counter. And no room at all for Eric Yeiter. And it'll be 4th down and punt. Clock is stopped now as it's Harrison that says we'll take a timeout because just as you mentioned, Coach, that Dow's offense is not the kind that's made to pick up big chunks of yards. Now you got Harrison who wants the ball back because they got precisely the kind of offense that can work with a minute left.
Well, we've seen a little bit of that already with Ricky Bryant out there probably to receive a punt. He's a dangerous man anytime he gets his hands on the ball, and even if he can't return the punt, we've got the passing of Jared Hopkins with Ricky Bryant as a receiver. And, of course, we've got some great running backs, Zach Cornwell and Chris Ganem, who can also go at any time. So you're right. The Hawks would like it back here offensively one more time, and they don't need a lot of time to score.
57 seconds left here first half. Dow will punt it away on 4th and 7. They're coming after Brabs. He gets it away. Going to be fielded by Sharp, the track man at the 20, all the way across the 30 and near the 35 with it. 48 seconds the Hawks have to work with, and they're trying to take it 67 yards. 14-0 Harrison out front, but I have a feeling the Hawks won't be satisfied. Harrison has 1 timeout left as Jared Hopkins comes to the line. Has wideouts to both sides. Sharp to one side, Bryant to the other. And back to throw. Going for the home run ball. Boy, Bryant got behind him too. Oh my, Ricky Bryant blew past the defensive back, but was a step shy of the football.
Well, Phil Brabs was back there with him, but you're right, Mike. Ricky Bryant, a good step beyond the defender, and the pass just thrown a little bit too long out of the reach of Ricky Bryant, but ooh, that's scary.
2nd down 10. As you see, 42 seconds left now first half. Going to give to the dive back, Cornwell, and he'll get the first down. 15 yards for Zach Cornwell on the carry to midfield, and they'll stop the clock with 36 seconds left while they move the chains.
Well, Zach Cornwell that time running right up through the offensive line, Mark. Ran up the back of his offensive tackle, Mike Fisher, the big 6'3", 255-pounder. Zach Cornwell just gives him a shove. Watch here. He just says, "Get out of the way, will you?" and goes on for about another 4 or 5 yards.
I'm not sure he said get out of the way. I think he said stay in the way, but go a little quicker. Well, a timeout is called by Farmington Hills Harrison. Their last timeout. Football is resting just across the midfield stripe. And Harrison looking at 1st and 10. They have 36 seconds left in the first half to try and tack some more points on. Field goal kicker for Harrison, by the way, Zach Cornwell, has 2 field goals between 30 and 40 yards. We weren't given exact totals, but one would guess his range is not beyond 40 yards, and so they're going to need to move the football down inside the 20 to take a shot at that. 1st and 10. Couple of wide outs, and this will be Ricky Bryant, the speedster on the sideline, driven out of bounds after a gain of about 5 or 6. And of course, Coach, what you set up with that kind of play is a little bit of a pump fake one of these times, and you're going to see Ricky Bryant stand out there for a moment. They'll pump the football to him, and he's going to fly down the sideline.
Well, anytime you get him out there with the ball, Mark, one-on-one, he's dangerous. And you're right, if you can put a little fake on it and let him get a step on you, he's gone.
2nd down, Hopkins back to throw.
There it is.
Down the sideline, this time intended for Sharp, and it's batted away.
Good defense that time on the part of the Chargers. As 2 defensive backs out there. Both safeties, Phil Brabs and Tom Sterling, right back there with the intended receiver, Jason Sharp that time. All 3 of them going up for the ball right on the sidelines, and it falls incomplete.
Third down 4, 25 seconds left now in this first half. Been a very fast-moving first half of football. The last couple 2 minutes have taken more than most of the rest of it. Boy, I'll tell you, Dow almost picked up 7 on the defensive side there as Daniel Walker stepped in front of that pass, and nothing but carpet between him and the end zone.
Well, Ricky Bryant was the intended receiver out there, and he had turned his back to the defense, was waiting for the ball. Obviously, the Hawks just want to do anything to get him the ball out there, but whoop, that was close. As you're right, Daniel Walker had it in his hand, just couldn't hang on to it. Nothing but green carpet in front of him had he been able to hold on.
Harrison will punt. This one will bounce at about the 10 and roll into the end zone with about 10 seconds left here in the first half, and Dow will come out after the touchback and have to run maybe a play, and we will have reached the half. So good job again by the Dow defense as they managed to stop Harrison. And one would have to say that Midland Dow's defense has done its job here. Harrison's had terrific field position throughout most of this first half, and only 14 points to show for it. Football at the 20, 1st and 10 for Dow. One would guess we'll see maybe one more Matt Samaki run. Going to be a little swing pass to Samaki. This one's loose and incomplete, say the officials, with 10 seconds left now. Boy, that was very close to being a lateral. I'd like to see that again. Mike Johnson on the swing pass to Matt Samaki, and if that one's going backward, that's a free football.
Well, the ball gets punted here. One of the Hawk defenders punts it as he comes in here. It's definitely forward, but there you see the
You're right.
defender.
Jason Sharp.
If you drop kick that through the goalpost,
you don't
3
see a
points.
lot of drop kicks, do you? Here's Samaki off right side, going to pick up about 5 more. And unless somebody calls a timeout, we're at the half. And we are. Halftime at the Pontiac Silverdome. Farmington Hills Harrison 14. Midland Dow nothing. We'll have a halftime band show for you coming up, and a great second half Class A state championship game. Stay with us.
For more information about sports nutrition, contact the Michigan High School Athletic Association.
14-0. The Hawks of Farmington Hills Harrison out front of Midland Dow as we finish up first half action here. Terrific halftime show there, both high school bands. Couple of touchdown lead for Harrison. My name is Mark Crawford, joined by the old coach, Bill Brandell, enjoying this Class A state championship game with you. And our stats really in the first half reflect the kind of game we've had. 14-0 Farmington Hills Harrison, and Coach Harrison really dominating the statistical numbers as well.
Well, they are, and they're right on schedule as far as run and pass. Mark, they've rushed for 120 yards, passed for 67 yards, 9 first downs so far. So quite a bit of offense for the Hawks. And, of course, anytime your offense is on the field that long, your defense is doing an excellent job also, and have kept the Chargers off the scoreboard. The Chargers with 4 first downs in the first half, 59 yards rushing, just 5 yards by way of the pass. Very typical of their offense, really, as far as ratio of rush to pass. But they got to pick it up a little bit here, Mark, in the second half. They're by no means out of this contest, just 14 points down. But as we mentioned, our key stat for the game being one of scoring, and it's got to be a low-scoring contest if the Chargers of Dow are going to come out on top. If it's a high-scoring game, then the Hawks would be favored in that situation. So key right here to begin the second half. The Chargers of Dow will get the kickoff in this second half, and they need to move the ball. They need to get good field position, get down, get some points on the board, and then let their defense take over here in the second half.
Some of the folks in a great crowd here at the Pontiac Silverdome. And while we're thinking of it, a couple of thank yous here. John Johnson from the Michigan High School Athletic Association and his staff for all of their help. And always fun to work with Tom Lingle and the crew from Advanced Video Productions. Dow will receive the kickoff, second half. They trail 14-0. And as we've mentioned a couple of times already, they have pretty good return men. Church and Samaki and Winner are all dangerous back there for Dow. And they need a nice return and good field position. Ganem will boot it away for Harrison. Kick is short and fielded at about the 10. Winner across the 30, and we couldn't hear it, but apparently a whistle as players are standing everywhere. I was watching that one on the monitor, Coach, and not looking at the field. And on the monitor, things were looking pretty good there for a moment as Jeff Winter was flying up the field and nobody near him, but this one's coming back.
Well, we're going to get an offside penalty on the part of the Hawks, but you're right. I was watching, Mark, and I thought I saw everybody kind of stop, but then I noticed the ball, being returned. I thought, what's going on here? I did not hear a whistle, obviously, but we're going to start this one again. We're going to try it one more time.
Kind of a letdown for Jeff Winter from Dow, I'm sure, as he saw himself sailing up the middle of. We'll try it again, this time from the 35-yard line. There's the Dow sideline. They took the opening kickoff of the second half last week against East Lansing, marched it down the field, and won the football game 7-0 on that first drive, second half. And I'm sure they're looking for a similar result right here. This will be Winter again, this time from about the 14. And not going to go quite as well for him this time. He's out to about the 24 and taken down right there.
Well, quite a bit different as the first time he took the ball. He kind of looked around and said, man, I'm fast. Everybody else looks like they're standing still out here. But no, call back. So not bad field position for the Chargers to start. 24-yard line. Need to get that running game going here, March. String a few first downs together. Get downfield and get some points on the board.
The offense for Dow, as it has been through much of the season, has been Matt Samaki, 12 carries, 64 yards. They have net only 64 yards. And here he comes again, going to turn the corner. And about a 10, maybe 11-yard pickup for Matt Samaki as he got a good seal block over there by number 33, Alan Tripp, who hooked the end for Farmington Hills Harrison and opened up some green space.
Well, some good blocking up front. That offensive line for the Chargers getting out in front there. Jim Gay, Curtis Wright, John Gay, all of those guys throwing blocks right at the line of scrimmage, and then some lead blockers with some pulling people and some lead backs to turn Matt Samaki around the corner.
1st and 10. They'll try the same thing the other direction. No room for Samaki. He'll try and cut it back, and he's down in the backfield. Boy, somebody just got crunched. I'm not sure if it was Alan Tripp or John Gay who threw the block, but sealing the corner that time, somebody got up ahead of steam and just flattened one of the Harrison Hawks. And nobody's hurt. In the end, Samaki had nowhere to go and lost about 4 yards. Good job of defense by Harrison.
Well, good pursuit that time by the Hawks defensively as they got out there. No place for Samaki to go. He tried to cut back in the other direction, but a defender also stayed home. So you're right, Mark. No gain on that one.
Matt Samaki again in trouble in the backfield, trying to lose some folks and can't. He'll lose another 3 or 4. Run down that time by number 55. Brett Foster, the defensive end, and it's going to be about 17, 3rd down and about 17 facing down. Again, that's not a number their offense is really geared to complete on. 3rd and very long.
Well, you start out with about 11 yards on the first play, Mark, and then you lose 2, then you lose 5. Can't do that. You got to move the ball.
Well, they'll go out a double tight end and a slot on 3rd and very long. They're going to run. It's the fullback, Spiess. And he'll get 4 or 5 back toward the middle of the field, but it'll be 4th down. The Chargers will have to punt. Well, among our 16 finalists playing for championships here at the Silverdome, 9 unbeatens this year, including Harrison. 4 clubs with 1 loss, including Dow. We have 1 team that's lost twice and 1 that lost 3 times but made it to a state championship game. Brabs on to punt. Stands back at his own 20. Rush is coming, and Brabs will get it away. The dangerous return guys, and this is number 1, Ricky Bryant. Still on his feet, and Bryant eventually taken down at about the 40-yard line. It'll be good field position for Harrison. 1st and 10 from their own 40, leading 14-0. All of the scoring belongs to Harrison. They have a touchdown in the first and a touchdown in the second. The first quarter TD followed a mishandled snap on the punt by Dow. 7 plays, 26 yards. Harrison took it. A 2-yard Chris Ganem TD, 7-0. Then second quarter, a 13-play, 99-yard drive. 27-yard touchdown pass, Hopkins to Ricky Bryant. That's where we stand, 14-0. Here's Ganem on 1st down. He's got about 4.
Number 21, Chris Ganem, the ball carrier.
Ganem, an excellent first half, Mark, 81 yards on, I can't see the carries.
Ganem was 43 yards.
43 yards.
Cornwell
had
the
80 yards. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Ganem did most of the work. 11 carries, 43 yards. Cornwell had 6 carries for 81. Second down, about 7 for Harrison. Got the power eye. They're going to pitch to Ganem. And he's very near the first down sticks. They're going to mark him down near the 49. That'll be good for the first down. So Chris Ganem goes 3 yards on first down, 8 on second, and they'll move the chains. It's 1st and 10.
It's 1st and 10 for the Hawks.
One of the impressive things about this Harrison Hawk Club coach, I was reading through some of our pregame materials. They're their top 11 football players. 3.64 grade point average, and so nominated as academic all-state. A couple of young men with 4 points out here. Dive play by Zach Cornwell.
Number 23, Zach Cornwell.
Mark,
that's about 3.
That's an excellent program that the Michigan High School Athletic Association has instituted with athletics across the state. And of course, the recognition is for any team is eligible to send in their combined grade point average. And what an excellent addition to honoring and letting people know that the athletes are really, truly student athletes. Many of these squads with extremely high GPAs with their athletic teams. That's great.
Second down, 6 for Harrison. They'll run pitch sweep short side, and Ganem is tripped up in the backfield. Doug Church, number 5. Hawks have not thrown it much, so Doug Church, who has more than 20 sacks this year, has not been able to add much to that total. But he has been a factor nonetheless, and that time gets good penetration and submarines the running back Ganem. And it'll be 3rd down at about 8 facing Harrison. Power eye formation for the Hawks. Back to throw is Hopkins, out in the flats, and can't find Zach Cornwell. Had some running room. Andrew Smith, the linebacker from Dow, was right behind him. And coming the other direction was Phil Brabs. Eventually they'd have made a sandwich of him, but I think he might have picked up some yardage before they got to him.
Well, Hopkins hurried a little bit that time, Mark. Good pressure. Nobody really got to him, but there was pressure that he could feel, and his offensive lineman kind of backing up in his face as he tried to set to throw the ball, and ended up incomplete.
Joe Ganem's punt fielded back at about the 14-yard line. Dow's Ryan Howell gets a return of a couple of yards out to near the 15. That's 3 punts in this game for Joe Ganem. I don't know if you noticed how many times the Hawks had punted all season long, but their 12-game total coming in today was 23 punts. So they were averaging fewer than 2 punts a game. And they have punted now 3 times here in this Class A state championship game. You see our score, 14-0 Harrison, midway through quarter number 3. And Dow needs to make something happen. First down Dow. This is Samaki, right side and not much room. Number 36, Mike Hode, among others, there for Harrison. No gain at all. It'll be second down and still 10.
Well, the Hawks doing an excellent job, Mark, of getting people out in front of Matt Samaki. And not necessarily are they right there to make the tackle, but they're taking out the interference that is blocking for Matt. And then things just kind of pile up and there's no way to go. So some good pursuit, good team defense on the part of Harrison.
Big dive back, loses the football. Spiess fumbles the football. It's recovered by Brian Lewis. And a big turnover gives it back to Harrison. I didn't see it come loose, but I did see Brian Lewis with the football starting to run the other direction for the Hawks. Let's see if we can pick it up on replay.
Well, it might have been one of those famous steals by a defensive lineman, as you'll see Jason Spiess here, and he comes in with the ball. And there it is. It's stolen right out of there. Brian Lewis just takes it right out of his hands and heads the other direction.
Tell you what it was, Coach. There was a helmet on the football that loosened it up a little bit. First and 10. Hawks of Harrison trying to cash in on the turnover. Second back, this is Ganem. And very little there. Maybe a yard. Dow's Sean Parkhurst was there, as was Alan Tripp. Tell you, I'm impressed with this Dow defensive group. This again is a Harrison club that averages nearly 400 yards a game in offense and 40 points. And despite giving Harrison some pretty good field position all day long, it's just a 14-0 game. Hopkins, the quarterback, power eye behind him, gives to the deep back Ganem. And Ganem's inside the 10 and down near the 6. It'll be third and still about 3.
Phil Brab's in there to aid on that tackle from that defensive back spot. And that's a nice tackle, but that's bad news when it's defensive backs that are making you tackles for you after a 4- and 5-yard gain. Don't need to do that too many times when you get the field position that the Hawks got right here with this third turnover by Dow. And they need to, they being the Chargers, need to stiffen a little bit better than that.
Third down and about 4. Into the ball game comes Jason Sharp, the track man. He's in that backfield now. Dive back inside the 5 and down near the 3 is Zach Cornwell, and that looks like enough for a first down. We're going to mark the football right on the 3, and it looks like the sticks at about the 3.5. And the officials are not as sure as I am. They say we're going to measure.
Take a look.
Gives us a moment to mention the officiating crew. Randy Stewart, the referee from Belleville. John Chappelle, our umpire from Sterling Heights. Fred Worth, the head linesman from Clawson. Peter Friedrich, the line judge from Sterling Heights. And Doug McKenzie, the back judge from Farmington Hills. And just as these football teams are honored to be here, these officials are here because they are the best in the business as well.
Well, it is a first down, Mark, and the Hawks right there knocking on the door once again. And this is where it gets tough for the Chargers of Dow, as when they are on defense, they are outweighed. The defense for the Chargers, 186 pounds, 229 pounds a man for that offensive front for the Hawks.
Down 35 pounds a man up front. Dive back. Cornwell just trying to back his way into the end zone behind the big line. Gets it down near the 1. It'll be second and goal. 4:10 to play, third quarter. 14-0 the Hawks of Farmington Hills Harrison, and they are a step away from making it 21. Football is inside the 1 and down at about the 1-foot line. And banging toward the goal line is Zach Cornwell. And there's the signal, the touchdown, say the officials. A 1-yarder by Zach Cornwell. Didn't get in by much, but it's Harrison 20 and down nothing.
Well, nothing fancy about this one as Zach Cornwall takes the ball just kind of right up the middle behind center Brian Lewis. He's 6'1", 250. The two guards, Matt Struble, 6'2", 195, and Brett Foster, 6'1", 205. And they lead the charge and push Zach Cornwell up and over the top of the defenders up front for the Chargers. And 6 and now 7 more points up on the board as the Harrison Hawks take a 21-0 lead here in the third quarter.
Zach Cornwell scores the touchdown here on replay and then kicks the extra point.
Boom. Good line surge as you see the white-shirted Harrison Hawks into the end zone. A number of those offensive linemen over the goal line, which of course leaves that area for the back to follow in behind and tack that point up on the board.
We've been talking about gaudy numbers that Harrison has put up all season long, and same could be said about Zach Cornwell individually, Coach. I was stunned when I saw this guy coming in today, has 145 points himself. There are a lot of high school football teams that don't score 145 points, and Cornwell has 18 touchdowns, 28 extra points that he's kicked, 3 field goals. He's added, 3 extra points and a TD, 9 more points here today, so 154 points he's scored here on this season.
Boy, that's a lot of productivity. You're right, Mark. Nice way to finish your senior season in the state championship game and score a touchdown.
Harrison to kick it away. Time is slipping away on Midland Dow, obviously. The Chargers down 21-0 with 3.5 to play in the third quarter. Back inside the 10. Good return across the 30 and 35-yard line with it. Is Dow's Jeff Winter. And the Chargers will get good field position, 1st and 10 from their own 36. There's another look at Winter's return. Had that seam, and not too many white jerseys left when he's knocked down.
Kind of tripped up maybe by one of his own men as they got their feet tangled up.
Samaki will try and run pitch sweep. And lots of white jerseys, and Samaki just keeps on running. Finally picks up 8 or 9 yards. You and I have seen some good backs this year. Sean Foster, who's committed to Michigan State University from Sexton.
I knew you'd have to bring that up.
Little
again.
John Flowers, who's also going to MSU out of Loy Norris. Brent Lesniak from Dowagiac, who we heard some talk about perhaps being a Notre Dame recruit. Matt O'Connor, who picked up 2,500 yards from Grand Ledge. But I like this Matt Samaki a lot tonight as well. Midland Dow's running back runs very hard. And Samaki will go from the wing here on 2nd and 1. Dive back and picking up the first down and then some, Jason Speece. Interesting formation, Coach. They needed only a yard, and I think they probably knew if they leave Samaki in the I formation in the backfield, that keeps a lot of defenders in the middle of the field. And by moving Samaki out there onto the wing, they pull some defenders out and allow the big guy Speece to rumble up the middle.
You're right, Mark. Spread out that defense, create some seams.
1st and 10. Here's Samaki trying to pitch sweep again. 5-6 yards down inside the 40-yard line of Farmington Hills Harrison. And the Dow Charger fans making a little noise in front of us as they see their club moving the football.
Well, only a couple of times have the Chargers been able to string together 2 first downs, Mark, and their fans a little anxious to see that. And all of a sudden, a spark of life here for Midland Dow as they put together some real nice running plays here.
Harrison 21, down nothing. You see 2.5 left here, third quarter. The big guy Speece up the middle, and this time the defense is waiting. Harrison had Brian Lewis right there. Got some help from Mike Hode, number 36. It'll be 3rd down, still 2 for Dow. It is all Matt Samaki for these Chargers. The offense is really Matt Samaki sweeping right, Samaki trying it left. Power I formation on 3rd and a couple. This will be pitch right to Samaki. Inside the 35, he's got the first down.
Samaki has that nice knack, Mark, of being able to see the football field in front of him. Quite a bit of width there, and he's able to pick up his blockers out of the corner of his eye and then spot where those seams are going to be. He makes some really nice cuts as he comes east and west, finds that seam and then heads either north or south and picks up the yardage.
We'll give him about 5 on that last carry. Here comes Samaki again up the middle. 5 more as he's inside the 30 by about a football. And it'll be 2nd and 5. Clock continues to roll. 1:15 to play 3rd quarter. Class A state championship game from the Pontiac Silverdome. Harrison 21 down, nothing late 3rd. Second down 5. That very familiar double tight end power I formation. Samaki up the middle again. Just fights his way forward near the sticks, down close to the 25. They're going to mark him at the 26-yard line, it looks like. He'll be just short. Gain is 4. It'll be 3rd and 1. Well, the seats here at the Dome still warm from a big Lions victory here on Thanksgiving Day as the Lions beat the Bears, what, 55-20?
After being down 14-0, right?
3rd and short, pitch Samaki right side. He'll get the first down and carries to the 28. And now the Charger fans are starting to feel it a little bit.
Well, they're loving it, but let's credit some people up front for Matt Samaki here. Al Tripp, the tight end to that side, number 33. He's 6'3" and 180. Jason Smith is the tackle, number 79, 6'2", 255. And Brad Curry, the center, 6'1", 225. Those are the workhorses up front to the offensive right side. And Jason Spiess also from his lead blocker position heading up in there. Boy, they've done some damage offensively with the rushing game here late in this 3rd quarter. In fact, the end of the 3rd quarter.
3 quarters have come and gone here at the Silverdome. 21-0. The Hawks of Harrison out front. The scoring very evenly distributed in this football game. It's 7 points in each quarter by Harrison. So if you looked at a line score, it would be 7-7-7. Total of 21 and 0-0-0, total of 0 for Dow. But the Chargers on the march here as we get started in the 4th quarter. They're going to be looking at 1st and 10 down at the 21 of Farmington Hills Harrison. And again, their defense has played well enough, has Midland Dow's D, that if the offense could keep it rolling here, they're not done yet.
Well, this has been a very workmanlike drive and very typical of the Chargers of Dow, as they have done the job moving the ball offensively by way of the rush. Not even a whisper of a pass so far in this drive, and they are just kind of smacking it right and left. Most of the work being done by Matt Samaki. A few yards thrown in every once in a while just to keep the Hawks off balance by Jason Spiess, and so far it's been effective.
1st and 10. Samaki must be near or over the 100-yard mark. He'll carry again and is hit immediately and dropped. Tried to cut it back, and there were a whole bunch of Harrison Hawks there. Brett Foster, number 55, among others, was there from his defensive end spot.
Brian Lewis and Mike Hode also, Mark, as there was a great deal of penetration that time by the Hawk defense. Just nowhere for Matt Samaki to go.
And Samaki was 64 in the first half. What do you have him with there in the 3rd?
Well,
I saw about 10 carries. Been a busy young man. 2nd down 10. Samaki in the slot. The only guy in the backfield is Spiess. They'll throw. Pressure comes, and dropped is Mike Johnson. First one to him, I think, was number 78, Matt Struble. Mike Fisher was there as well. Big loss. Back to the 31-yard line. and it'll be 3rd down and almost 20 facing Midland Dow. Here it is again.
Well, a key situation for the Hawks defensively, as on the 1st down on this series, they were able to stop Matt Samaki about a 3 or 4 yard loss, and then force the Chargers to go to the pass, Mark. And of course, that's not the strong part of their game, and they're able to drop Mike Johnson for the big loss, and the Chargers in a hole here now. Need to pick up a 1st down.
3rd down long. Going to be a little double reverse maybe. Now Samaki keeps it, and he'll get 10, 11 yards. Well, that was an interesting play. The pitch play to Matt Samaki, and kind of a fake on a little end around. And I think maybe Samaki was supposed to give it to him. His teammates talking to him as he comes back to the huddle, but Matt Samaki saw a little hole, and looks like he probably did the right thing. Picked up 10, 11 yards, and it's 4th down.
Well, if it was a reverse, I think it was a little late, Mark. The reverse man coming back to get the ball just didn't seem to get there. And Samaki just decided, whoops, I better turn it upfield and get going here.
Chargers of Dow have called a timeout here as they face a big play. 4th down and 9. They trail 21-0, just over 10 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. And their head coach, Frank Altamore, wants to talk to his club as they look at this 4th down effort.
I had 38 yards for Matt Samaki, Mark, in that 3rd quarter. Here's that play once again. You see the reverse man coming, but a little bit late. And once again, Samaki with that vision, you see him spot the seam and come up inside that seam there and made some big yardage. But the unfortunate thing is it was 3rd and about 24.
Here we go. Chargers it down. 4th down. 9, maybe 10 yards to go for a 1st. Got to get it down to about the 11-yard line. This is kind of a little double to the right-hand side, and Yider on the carry will get nowhere near. Started it left and then handed off to Eric Yider from the slot, going to the right, but Harrison strings it out well. Gain of only about 5, and on downs, the football will go over to Farmington Hills Harrison.
Well, a nice bit of offense by the Chargers as they started with the ball at their own 36-yard line, took it all the way down to about the 16 or 17-yard line of the Hawks, but are not able to put any points on the board, and that's a key at this point in the contest. Just 10 minutes left now in this 4th quarter. 21-0
Harrison, and the Hawks have the football. Hopkins at quarterback, hands off right side. Cornwell has a couple of yards out near the 23 or 24. As the clock very much the friend now of the Hawks of Harrison. In their 11th state championship game. They own 7 titles, have been runners-up 3 times.
Boy, that is a fantastic record. That is just phenomenal.
Checking ball at the 19.
One would guess the Hawks will be content to keep the football on the ground now and watch that clock keep moving. Second back is Chris Gannum this time. Has a couple of more yards across the 20 to the 22. Boy, the Dow defense continues to be pretty stingy. They're not giving any ground up easily.
Well, field position has killed them. We keep talking about that defense being pretty stiff out here, and yet they're 21 points up on the board. But in 2 cases in particular, the Hawks ended up with the short field, Mark. They didn't have to go very far to get those points on the board.
3rd down about 5. Left-hand side, the speedster Sharp not going to get anywhere, and it's going to be 4th and punt, and Dow will get it back. I'll tell you, I can't say enough about this Dow defense. All of the weapons that Farmington Hills Harrison has, and Dow's defense hanging with them.
Well, we see one of the Hawks down on the field, Mark, right now. We have an injury. Can't tell exactly what happened. It was away from the play, and I think it's one of the offensive linemen for the Hawks. So something, as I say, a little bit away from where the actual ball carrier was, down in the interior of that line somewhere.
Road to the Dome for these two clubs. For Dow, included victories over a conference opponent, Saginaw, 23-20, then knocking off unbeaten Flushing, 32-14, and then last week's 7-0 shutout over East Lansing. Harrison defeated Edsel Ford 56-21, then knocked off Ypsi 38-0, and Seaholm 21-7. Interestingly, that Seaholm game, the 14-point victory, it's the closest anybody has come to these Hawks of Harrison this year. They have played no ball games that finished any closer than those 2 touchdowns, 14 points.
I think just one scare in the season for the Hawks, Mark, is Dearborn Edsel Ford went out 14-0 against the Hawks in the opening game of the playoffs, and then it was kind of an easy situation as Harrison ended up winning that game 56-21. But the start a little bit shaky for the Hawks. They're not used to that.
Kind of like that Lions Thanksgiving Day game against the Bears, huh?
Yeah.
Bears got the quick 14 on the board and then wilted. 4th down. And 4th time Farmington Hills Harrison has found themselves in a punt situation. High kick. Winner back to field it at the 37. Boy, nice cut by Winner. He's across midfield and down into Harrison territory. 8:03 to play. Harrison 21, Midland Dow nothing, and Dow has the football back again. Field position good as they'll start 1st and 10 at the 48 of Harrison. Matt Samaki is in fact across the 100-yard mark. 22 carries, 102 yards for Samaki. Total offense for the Chargers 117. That's how much he's worth to them. Back to throw is Johnson. Guns it out in the flats and has a man. 1st down yardage and a little more. The completion to Greg Altamore, number 6. And they're going to mark the football down at the 31, 1st and 10.
Greg Altamore, the coach's son, Mark, and just a freshman. So he's one of those players that you don't see usually until late in the ball game. Makes a big play there.
1st and 10. Chargers going to the air. Pressure coming, and Johnson does a nice job of ducking away from the blitz up the middle, and he'll pick up 4 or 5 yards. Somebody was coming like a freight train up the middle, Coach, and Mike Johnson just did the nice little sidestep and saved himself some pain.
Well, a good effort also by Mike Johnson after he was hit here, as he was hit about the line of scrimmage, but drove forward, carried some people with him, then ended up just kind of diving over his tackler and reaching out with the ball. Ended up picking up about 4 yards.
2nd down for Dow. That's time left in the game, just over 7 minutes. Johnson to throw again. Good protection, sends it down the sidelines. It's caught out of bounds. Out of bounds on the catch was Eric Yeiter. Headed down the sidelines. It'll be incomplete. 3rd down.
Well, good defensive coverage by the Hawks that time, right at the sideline. But Yeiter up with a leaping grab of the ball, but comes down out of bounds, so it's an incomplete pass. But good effort on the part of all the players involved there. Nice pass, but just a slight bit too far and out of bounds.
3rd down. Smith in motion. They'll roll right. Get it to Samaki with some blockers in front of him. 1st down inside the 20 and down to the 16 goes Samaki on the reception. Picks up 12.
Well, once again, the Chargers on the move here offensively have the ball once again at the 16-yard line. Their last offensive possession, they had it right here, Mark. They were unable to convert, couldn't get any points on the board. There you see the little swing out pass to Samaki. Again, a good cut. He picks up the extra 10 yards after running into a defender out there. Good bit of running, good bit of play calling here to get Samaki alone and outside the defense.
And Harrison wants a timeout. John Harrington and the Hawks of Harrison decide that defensively they need to talk things over a little bit as suddenly they look at a Midland Dow ball club that has given up on the run and is going to throw the football.
Well, obviously, time-wise, they're forced to do that. We're down to 6 minutes, 30 seconds now in this fourth quarter, and you're down by 21 points. You don't have time to use the running game to move the ball slowly down the field. You got to get some points in a hurry, and obviously, you do that by way of the pass. The Dow squad, the Chargers, not known for their pass, but they can pass. They have been effective with the pass, but they live by the run, and it usually sets up the pass. Now they have been forced to the passing game. I'll bet we're going to see, Mark, a little more instant pressure by the Hawks, knowing once again that the Chargers have their back up against the wall here. You can kind of tee off with your defense. Those down people can almost forget about the run and say, hey, we're coming after you. And, of course, that's dangerous because you have a back like Samaki on the little draw that could really rip you one if you're not ready for him.
First down, Dow. This will be Samaki right side. Over the middle, he's inside the 15 and down to about the 12. Gains 4 or 5 on that carry.
Good bit of ankle tackling in there that time by number 51, Wes Moreland, for the Hawks, in at one of the defensive linebackers, I believe, right now. And just as I say that, he goes off the field.
Second down, 5 for Dow. Johnson to throw. Guns it over the middle. We'll see a flag. No. Well, I thought I saw an official reach for a flag, but we don't have any call. Nope, it's incomplete. Intended receiver over there was Altimore again, and he went down in a pile along with a couple of white shirts chasing the football. It's incomplete. Third down. Line of scrimmage is the 12. The sticks are down at the 7, so they could pick up a first down there. And they're going to get more than that. Samaki into the end zone from 12. Dow is on the board. Hawks 21, Midland Dow 6.
Well, just what you make yourself vulnerable to, the little draw play. You're expecting the pass. Team forced really to the passing game. Not much time left on the clock, and have not been able to run the ball consistently. So they open up the passing game a little bit, and bingo, all of a sudden, the quick little draw play, and Matt Samaki, you don't need to give him a whole lot of room, and he comes back and runs right up the middle for 6. The try for the extra point is blocked by the Hawks, and boy, somebody just came in there, Mark, kind of untouched.
I think it's Jason Sharp, number 10, who came in. One of the speed guys from the side managed to get a hand on it. Here's the touchdown again by Matt Samaki.
Matt Samaki, using one of the officials that time as a blocker, had an extra man there with a striped shirt on for him. Once again, that's good vision, being able to pick things up like that and make a cut. We do have another injury down here. And Mark, is that the kicker for the Chargers on that block? Did we get the kicker hit?
No, looks like it's number 22 for Dow, Brian Cassidy. Could be the holder. I paid no attention to who the holder is. Would be about that right spot.
That's why I was thinking it might have been the kicker, but you're right, it is number 22. Whoever blocked that kick just came in on a streak.
5:45 to play here at the Silverdome. Class A state championship game. Harrison 21, Midland Dow 6. And we'll see if Frank Altimore and the Chargers decide it's time to onside kick. They're a couple of touchdowns away with only about 5:45 to play. And I have a feeling if I'm Dow, kind of now or never.
Well, you have to make it happen. You're right, Mark. You can't sit back and allow the Hawks any time at all offensively with the ball. We're under 6 minutes, as you have said, and you got to get possession of the ball. You got to score at least twice here and make some conversions on top of that. So I think you are right. I think we will see an attempt here at some type of an onside kick, try to get possession back.
Well, they're working on, looks like the right knee and ankle area of Brian Cassidy. He's sitting up now, which is a good sign. Like that group of guys there who've painted themselves green with the DOW. What you can't see is what we see from up in the booth, which is their backs, and they have little Charger lightning bolt on their backs. Well, the player who is down, Brian Cassidy, is in fact the holder, number 22, and must have been injured during that process then of the block, and that does happen on blocks frequently, because the person who blocks a kick has normally thrown their full body weight toward the spot where the kick is going up, and so frequently, just like a missile, will rip into the holder or into the legs of the kicker. And in this case, Brian Cassidy injured and still down.
Well, we have official stats after the three-quarter mark, and the once again, all offense was up to that third quarter for the Harrison Hawks, as they had 146 yards rushing, 67 yards by way of the pass, so over 200 yards of offense, and had that 21 points up on the board. On the other side, rushing for the Chargers, 112 yards, but still just 5 yards passing, so just 117 yards of total offense for Midland Dow. And of course, that was the story. But all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, the Chargers have found a way to move the ball here. They got their running game going on one march down the field, took it to the 16-yard line, and then were stopped. We're not able to put any points up on the board. Defensively, came out and just stuffed the Hawks. 3 downs in the punt, and the Chargers got the ball, and then looking up at the clock and seeing that there were just moments left in the fourth quarter here, went to the pass and have been very effective with it. Ended up with a quick draw play and got their 6 points up on the board. So we're waiting for the injury here to be taken care of, and we expect to see the Chargers with some kind of an onside kick and try to get some more points up on the board.
Well, I have seen several folks who look a little like physicians. As you can see, the teams now have moved over to visit with their coaching staffs. The officials, I saw a talk with several people who looked like physicians, and somebody ran down the tunnel. I'm not sure if they're headed to get a cart maybe to take off Brian Cassidy or not, and now somebody's coming out with a big bag of equipment, maybe has some kind of an inflatable cast or something, but they're obviously quite worried about the leg and don't want to move it, and we may be here a little while. A big old gym bag out now that they're taking some things out of, and will work on the right leg of Brian Cassidy. And there is a cart coming now, and Cassidy has now laid down on the field as they work on his leg, and now you'll see the cart move into your picture there. That will drive out onto the field. And always a decision we need to support when medical staff decide that they want to hold up a game for a while. You and I have seen some games held up before for 30 and 40 minutes while they waited for ambulance crews to come in sometimes when they have not wanted to move folks at high school football games. And not easy for anybody, fans, announcers, players on the field, but it's the right decision because it involves the health of a young person.
Well, it is the right leg of Brian Cassidy as they put him on the cart there, and they have put some type of an air splint on that leg, so obviously they're trying to protect against the possibility that there is some type of a knee type of an injury or possibly a break in the leg. And as you said, Mark, excellent work here by the staff as they take no chances with that young man and will take him and make sure that he gets the best of care and that there's no possible way to further the injury that may have occurred on that play. Real nice recognition by the Dow fans here as they take the young man on the cart down in front of us, and he is recognized for his efforts here in this state championship game.
Well, I tell you, they barely got him off the field.
I have to admit, I was still watching the cart, Mark. I didn't even see the kickoff there.
I looked off just in time, and it was in fact an onside kick, and was recovered by Farmington Hills Harrison. Well, they wasted no time. Got a schedule to keep, I guess.
I guess.
5:45 to play. Harrison recovers the onside kick. They take over 1st and 10. They lead 21-6. Jared Hopkins, as the power eye behind him, gives off to Cornwell. And Cornwell is forward for 6 or 7 yards into Dow territory. Thomas Sterling, the free safety, makes the tackle for Midland Dow, but a good gainer of 7. It'll be 2nd and about 3. And the Hawks of Harrison need only string together a couple 2 or 3 first downs, and this one's over. Clock marching down inside 5:10 now to play. And Jared Hopkins in no hurry steps up to the line of scrimmage and taking his time. Deep back is Ganem, and he's got the first down. Andrew Smith, the terrific linebacker for Midland Dow. Real big hitter is there. Parkhurst, the tackle as well for Dow, but the first down for Harrison keeps the clock moving. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining, so Dow can stop it a couple of times, but the key would be to get a big first down stop here, not give the Hawks 6-7 yards on first down. I formation behind Hopkins. Dive back is Cornwell. It's 3 or 4. Tripp is there on the stop, the linebacker for Dow. Parkhurst, who's been very active, number 10, is there as well.
Parkhurst, the number 10. You don't usually see a number 10 down in defensive tackle position, Mark. I keep looking for Parkhurst as a linebacker or a cornerback or something like that, but he plays a defensive tackle. 5'11", 170-pound junior. One of those real quick defensive people for the Chargers.
2nd down long, Harrison. Tailback is Chris Ganem. Parkhurst is there on the stop again, but Ganem is forward for 4 or 5. It'll be 3rd and about 3. Football down now at the 35 of Midland Dow, and that is all Dow thinks they can let it go. They're going to call a timeout with 3:37 still to play here. 3rd down 3. Big play in what may be 4-down territory for Farmington Hills Harrison. We're down at the 35 of Midland Dow, and it might well be that John Harrington, with a 15-point lead, is willing to take a couple of cracks here, even if it means risking handing the football over to Dow at about the 35.
Well, the Harrison defense has been excellent through most of this game. The offense for the Chargers got it going here a little bit in the fourth quarter, but I think you're right, Mark. I think that Coach John Harrington just simply would love to take the rest of the time off the clock and get this first down here and never give the ball back to the Chargers. So he's got the third down and about 4 situation and 2 downs to crack at that 4 with the excellent running game and the backs, Zach Cornwell and Chris Ganem in there to try to pick up that 4 yards. Pretty good bet that Coach Harrington will just say, guys, we're going to bang it out here. Remember that offensive line, a 35-pound man advantage for the Hawks.
All right, Ganem and Cornwell behind Hopkins. This will be Ganem, and he's hitting the backfield, spins away, doesn't get there, and Dow should use their last timeout right here. Parkhurst, among others, is there again for Midland Dow. Clock is still moving, and now Dow calls a timeout.
Once again, Sean Parkhurst, 170-pound junior, up against the guard and tackle on that side for the Hawks. Brett Foster, 6'1", 205 pounds, and I'm going to have trouble with that name again, Mark, but
Gadjev.
Chris Gadjev at 6 foot 239 pounds. Those are the 2 young men that Sean Parkhurst is going up against on a regular basis here, and it's simply his quickness and his moves after the initial contact that allow him to get in on all these tackles.
Quick recap of the scoring for you. 21-6 Harrison. They scored in the first quarter on a 2-yard Chris Ganem TD run. 7-0 they led. Second quarter, a 13-play, 99-yard drive by Harrison. 27 yards. Hopkins to Ricky Bryant for the score. 14-0 at the half. Third quarter, a 1-yard Zach Cornwell TD. Extra point good, 21-0. And Dow has the only score here in the fourth. A 12-yard Matt Samaki touchdown run. The extra point was blocked. Harrison 21, Dow 6. We have 3:22 to play, and Harrison will go on 4th and 2. So Dow could take over right here with a bit more than 3 minutes to play. Jared Hopkins will pitch, try and Ganem, and boy, it'll be close. Depends on the mark. Pile of players down around the 32. The sticks are just inside the 32. Let's see where they mark it.
Well, I'm looking at 2 different officials, Mark, and I think it's going to be a little short.
Oh, it's short by a yard. They mark him at the 33, and the Dow defense does the job. With 3:15 to play, the Chargers will send the offense back onto the field. They need 2 touchdowns and at least 1 2-point conversion and a kicked extra point to get a tie in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. And again, this is not what their offense is geared to do. 360, only got 9 players on the field. Now John Gay runs out and sets it tight end. Need all 11 guys. Johnson back to throw. Has time, sends a wobbler in the corner. Picked off. Picked off by Zach Cornwell. And that will be all she wrote with 3:05 to play. Dow's last gasp effort going to be picked off by Zach Cornwell. No more timeouts for Dow. Just over 3 minutes to play, and now the Hawks can just go to the ground game and watch this one end.
Well, Mike Johnson with some problems there getting his offense on the field. Had to snap the ball without the receiver really knowing what's going on, and then had a huge lineman up in his face as he threw the ball, and Zach Cornwell picks it up as the pass never got really in the area of the receiver, and the Hawks take over offensively.
Here's Cornwell on the carry now, wrapped up, no gain at all. But for Harrison now, it's not about gain, it's about just watching the clock move.
Well, I believe that's the 4th turnover by the Chargers in this ball game, Mark, and those were a key, as a couple of times early in this contest it gave the Hawks a short field to work with. They were able to convert that short field into points on the scoreboard, and we said originally that the game needed to be a low-scoring affair, 14, 17 points, in order for the Chargers to win it. and already the Hawks have their 21 up there. So it's been a tough struggle here. A really gutty defensive display by the Chargers, but just not quite enough offense.
Cornwell, another tough yard into the interior of that Dow defense. Stop was made again by number 10, Sean Parkhurst, who has been all over the place here in the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and long, and now 2 minutes to play in this one. Dow may get the football back again. It's 3rd down and 9, but they're going to have no time at all to work with if they do. Hawks will win state championship number 8. Wow. Pitch play. This is Matt Reed back in the ball game, and he's going to lose a yard or two. It'll be 4th down. 1:30 to play. Line of scrimmage is about the 30-yard line. You could try a little pooch punt, I suppose, but looks like Harrison's going to go ahead and run a play.
Well, once again, I think they're looking at the clock and just saying we're just going to take as much time as we can and let the chips fall where they may here. If we have to give the ball up, we give it up. But we're well into our opponent's end of the field, and we have 15-point advantage on the scoreboard. So just let the seconds tick away.
4th down, 10. Hopkins to throw. Guns it over the middle, going to be incomplete. And that'll stop the clock with 46 seconds left. Would have stopped anyway on the change of possession, and Dow will take over again. The defense continues to do its job, but only 46 ticks remaining, and barring a major miracle, the Hawks of Harrison are your Class A state champions. Going back quickly into my record book here, Harrison's titles have come, I think, in 3 different classes as well. I think they have an A, a double B, and some B titles as well. Back on one knee, and Mike Johnson says we're just going to let this one end. Now they'll run Samaki right side. Football is loose, I think. And Harrison comes up with it. 10 seconds, all that remains. Brian McGee, I think, 58, comes up with a loose football, the nose for Farmington Hills Harrison, but this one's all over. Harrison will come out, run one more play. State championships for Harrison. They were A champions in 1982, 1993, and 1994. Double B champs in 1991, and B champions in 81, 88, 89. And Hopkins takes the snap, goes to a knee, and the Hawks can celebrate. The perfect season for Farmington Hills Harrison. 13-0 for Farmington Hills Harrison as they defeat a game Midland Dow Chargers club. And I guess the series between these two in state championship games is even now.
Evened up.
1976, it was Dow defeating Harrison here at the Dome. And now it's Harrison returning the favor. 21-6 Hawks.
Well, it was an excellent ball game, and we have to credit both of these teams with some excellent play. Just a little bit too much offense for the Chargers to handle today, as Harrison very smooth with their offense, using the pass and the run. They're able to tack up 21 points on the game against a tough Dow defense that had just a lot of grit down in there, never quit, never gave up. The offense for the Chargers just not able to get the points on the board today, as they had up through this whole season been able to use the running game to score. And there's the difference today. Just a little bit more offense for the Hawks and not quite enough offense for the Chargers.
Scoring summary again. Farmington Hills Harrison, 3 touchdowns from 3 different players. Chris Gannum had a 2-yarder in the first quarter. That finished off a 7-play, 26-yard drive. Ricky Bryant got the second touchdown on a 27-yard pass from quarterback Jared Hopkins. That finished a 13-play, 99-yard drive. Took 9 minutes. Harrison's third quarter TD, 1-yarder. Zach Cornwell got that one. And Dow's touchdown, a 12-yard run. Matt Samaki, the extra point was blocked. And that our final score. Harrison 21 and Dow 6.
Well, individually, Matt Samaki leading the Chargers. He had over 100 yards into the third quarter, so we don't know what his final numbers were exactly yet, but we know he had over 100 yards, so an excellent afternoon of running for Matt Samaki. And on the other side, Zach Cornwell, he had 92 yards by the end of the third quarter, so you know he must have been over 100 also, Mark. So we had 2 young men 100 yards or so in this contest. So excellent performances again. You and I have seen some excellent running backs, and we saw 2 more great ones here tonight.
Teams are lining up now at the 50-yard line after exchanging handshakes, and the trophy presentation is next up. Dan Flynn, who is from Escanaba and is a member of the MHSAA Representative Council,
at this will we direct your attention to the field where Ms. Tammy Jackson, athletic director of
that's
East
not Dan
Jordan
Flynn.
High School and a member of the Michigan High School Trophy presentation.
Instead of
1997 Class A runner-up, the Chargers of Midland Dow High School.
instead of Dan.
Accepting the runner-up trophy is Coach Frank
It is, I think,
Baltimore.
Tammy Jackson, who's the AD at East Jordan High School, who will help with presentations of the trophies.
Our congratulations to the Chargers of Midland Dow High School on an outstanding season.
And there's Harrison head coach John
And now,
Harrington. Title
Ms.
number
Jackson
8.
will present the Class A championship trophy to
And
the
the Hawks, as John Harrington said, no real remarkable individual stars, but just plain solid at every position. And they played a very solid football game today and had to take out a very game ball club from Midland Dow.
Our congratulations to the Farmington Hills Harrison High School, the 1997
The Hawks of Harrison are your MHSAA Class A football champs. Harrison 21, Midland Dow 6.